Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is William Fallow, and welcome everyone to the Good Week Devotional series. And this is the part 2 of the unpacking of the feeding of the 4,000 in Mark chapter 15, verses 32 through 39. And I would like to pick up where we left off. And I would like to start reading from Matthew chapter 15, starting at verse 33. The disciples said to him, "Where could we get enough bread in this desolate place to fill such a crowd?" "How many loaves do you have?" Jesus asked them. "7," they said, "and a few small fish." After commanding the crowd to sit down, he took the 7 loaves and the fish, and he gave thanks, broke them, and kept on giving them to the disciples. And the disciples gave them to the crowds. They all ate, and they were filled. Then they collected the leftover pieces, 7 large baskets full. Awesome. Very awesome scripture. One of the interesting things that in this scripture, Jesus, he could do it all himself if he wanted to. But who did Jesus look to help him feed the crowds? He looked to the disciples. And the disciples had a little bit of bread and a little bit of fish. And if you look at it in today's world, that's really not a lot. That wouldn't really feed 4,000 people. But you know what the disciples did? They gave the bread and fish to Jesus, and they put it in his hands. And after they put the bread and fish in his hands, the bread and fish were multiplied, and people were fed. And ladies and gentlemen, you might not say, "Well, I don't have much to give. I'm not rich. I don't have that much." Well, ladies and gentlemen, what God has given you, it may not be much, but if you put that little bit into his hands, ladies and gentlemen, if you put it in his hands and you let him bless it, he will multiply your talents, ladies and gentlemen. He will multiply that and turn it into blessing, and he will give that to the people. If you put that in Jesus' hands, you can make a difference in many lives, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to share with you a couple of examples that helps illustrate this point. Let's go in scripture in Mark chapter 12, verses 41 through 44. It states, "Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowds put their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts. But a poor widow came and had put in 2 very small copper coins, worth only a few cents. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more into the treasury than all the others. They gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on." She put in 2 small copper coins. And she put that in the offering. And those 2 small copper coins, I am sure, made a difference in advancing the gospel, ladies and gentlemen. They might helped the church fill a need that they have needed to help feed the hungry, or get materials to the people who need it. That lady put in 2 small copper coins, and I am sure it has made a difference. And another example I'd like to share with you is out of my life. Back a long time ago when I was a teenager, I did a little acting. And I'm not really much known for my acting, but I got the opportunity to be in a production at church, a play. And it was a play about a lawyer questioning 3 people on whether they should get into heaven. And they would ask them the questions, and if they lived the lifestyle, then they would get accepted into, if they accepted Jesus and they lived the holy life, and then they would get accepted into heaven. Well, I ended up playing a movie critic, which was pretty cool. And after the play was over, a lady in the audience stepped up and gave her life and gave her heart to God. And, I wasn't a really great actor, but I put that into God's hands. I put that little talent that I had with some practice, I put that in God's hands, and you know what? I had the opportunity to be in that play, and at the end, a lady gave her heart to God. And it shows you that whatever you have out there, ladies and gentlemen, it might not be much, but what little bit that you have, whatever talent that you have, you might sing or something. You might have the gift of conversation or something. You might have the gift of smiling and brightening somebody's day. Any small gift you have, whether it's small or big, you put that in Jesus' hands, ladies and gentlemen, and He will do great things with it, and it will make a difference in the lives of many, and you will get Jesus. You will get Jesus into their lives, ladies and gentlemen. If you put it in God's hands, He will multiply it. And in the scripture, it said right here, He gave thanks, broke them, and kept on giving them to the disciples. When you give something, ladies and gentlemen, Jesus will use it, and He will keep on giving. Jesus' blessing is the blessing that keeps on giving. But Jesus looks to each and every one of you to help out with that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for watching part 2 of the feeding of the 4,000. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope this has made a difference in your life. Thank you all very much for watching, and have a great day.